Imagine a world where sleek jets and armored vehicles are just the beginning. Delve into the secret, luxurious travels of former U.S. presidents. From Clinton's decoy helicopters to Donald Trump's golden plane, we're about to uncover the shocking truths behind their jet-set lifestyles, all on taxpayer money. Welcome to How Former U.S. Presidents Travel in Secret. Number 1. Bill Clinton. In the realm of presidential travel, few figures stand out like Bill Clinton, the 42nd President of the United States. Known for his charismatic personality and global initiatives, Clinton's trips around the world were often shrouded in secrecy and intrigue, adding an extra layer of fascination to his already illustrious career. One of the most iconic aspects of Bill Clinton's travel repertoire was his use of the presidential helicopter. Picture a sleek, high-gloss green and white helicopter soaring through the sky with the President of the United States on board. Marine One wasn't just a means of transportation for Clinton. It was a symbol of power and protection. With state-of-the-art security measures and cutting-edge technology, this aerial behemoth ensured the president's safety as it transported him to various destinations. But Marine One wasn't alone in its duties. Accompanied by a swarm of identical decoy helicopters, it was a strategic decision intended to deceive potential threats on the ground. You see, when you're President of the United States, security isn't just a priority, it's a way of life. And Marine One, with its armed Marine Guards and smart blue dress uniforms, epitomized the level of security surrounding Clinton wherever he went. Of course, Marine One wasn't the only vehicle in Clinton's arsenal. From the iconic Ford Mustang convertible to the Chevrolet El Camino, Clinton had a penchant for unique cars. Despite not being able to drive any of them during his presidency, these vehicles held a special place in his heart, reminding him of simpler times before he took office. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of Bill Clinton's travels was his friendship with Frank Giustra, a Canadian billionaire miner and Hollywood studio owner. In 1995, as Clinton was preparing for a charity trip to Latin America, Giustra offered his expensive jet for the expedition on the condition that Clinton travel with him. Little did they know that this would mark the beginning of a significant and mutually beneficial friendship. Since then, Giustra has become one of the Clinton Foundation's top individual donors, and Clinton has flown on Giustra's plane on numerous occasions. But here's the catch. Their arrangement was kept secret for years and only came to light during Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, while some speculated about possible connections between the Clinton Foundation and wealthy donors like Giustra. Both men maintained that their friendship was based purely on altruistic goals. It turns out that when it comes to presidential travel, there's always more than meets the eye. Number 2, Donald Trump. Known for his opulent lifestyle and extravagant tastes, Trump also boasts an extraordinary fleet of airplanes and helicopters for his secretive travels. At the heart of Trump's aviation empire is his custom Boeing 757, a meticulously guarded private jet that exudes luxury and sophistication, powered by Rolls-Royce engines. Trump once remarked, "One of the very important things for me about the Boeing 757 was the Rolls-Royce engines. They're special. They're very popular." This aircraft, adorned with Italian leather seats, 24-karat gold accents, and the Trump family crest, offers unparalleled comfort and style. With 2 private bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, dining and conference spaces, and an entertainment system that rivals a personal movie theater, it's no wonder this plane has traveled the world in grand style. However, once Trump ascended to the presidency, the Boeing 757 had to be grounded as he traveled exclusively on Air Force One. Fear not, though, because the Trump Organization's aviation division continues to operate a fleet of Sikorsky S-76 helicopters, offering an exclusive air sanctuary for crucial executives. These helicopters, equipped with luxurious amenities, refreshment centers, and live map displays, proudly bear the Trump aviation branding as they smoothly glide through the skies. In addition to airplanes and helicopters, Trump's private fleet includes the Trump Cessna Citation, known for its remarkable speed and sumptuous cabins. Capable of reaching speeds of up to 92 miles per hour and altitudes of 5,000 feet, it is a truly impressive aircraft. This plane is like a rocket in the sky, with luxurious cabins befitting its peers, the Trump crest adding an extra dimension to its appearance. These aircraft have made post-presidential travel stress-free for Trump, ensuring smooth and discreet transportation around the world. In addition to his aviation ventures, Trump also boasts a collection of luxury vehicles that exude wealth and extravagance. However, due to security concerns and legal restrictions imposed on former presidents, Trump cannot drive these extravagant cars on public roads, ensuring his safety and avoiding security issues, despite the legal restrictions. Trump's Rolls-Royce collection, which includes classics like the 1956 Silver Cloud and the Phantom, epitomizes elegance and wealth, providing a driving sensation akin to floating on a fluffy cloud. Trump's car collection also includes legendary supercars like the 1997 Lamborghini Diablo and the Tesla Roadster, showcasing his interest in cutting-edge technology and automotive innovation. However, these cars remain stationary displays of opulence and serve as reminders of Trump's passion for luxury and extravagance. Despite these restrictions, Trump's collection also includes a 24-karat gold meat grinder, a unique addition that stands out as a symbol of his lavish lifestyle. While these cars may serve as stationary displays of opulence, they continue to demonstrate Trump's taste for the finer things in life. So the next time you're stuck in traffic, remember that even former presidents dream of the fast lane. Number 3, George Bush. When it comes to discreetly navigating the world, former President George W. Bush has a unique story to tell. Let's delve into the intriguing world of how George Bush, the 43rd President of the United States, travels secretly amidst situations of political turmoil. President Bush's security has been paramount in past instances. He was rushed to Sarasota International Airport, where the presidential motorcade quickly secured Air Force One for a remarkable departure. Upon boarding the aircraft, President Bush found refuge soaring into the sky as Air Force One protected him and the nation from the unfolding crisis. But what about life after the presidency? Well, George Bush has become a global force for good through the George Bush Institute's Human Freedom Initiative. His extensive travels, more than just trips, have become a dedicated mission to humanitarian causes around the world, from Africa to Asia. Each flight contributes to addressing crucial issues such as healthcare and education. It's a unique combination of diplomacy and genuine concern that transforms thousands of frequent flyers into a tool for positive change. However, all of his post-presidential travel is by private jet, ensuring a high level of security and discretion. Protected by robust security measures, his air travel maintains a confidential and controlled environment, offering flexibility and efficiency in his global efforts. It's a delicate balance between security imperatives and impactful global initiatives. Now, how does President Bush navigate the roads? Well, he spends his post-presidential days at Prairie Chapel Ranch, a serene 1,600-acre retreat in central Texas. Here, he finds Consuelo fishing, painting, and driving freely on the property's roads. And what's his vehicle of choice? A Ford F-150 King Ranch, reflecting his Texas roots and embracing the rugged spirit of the state and its people. In a one-off 2017 Barrett-Jackson auction, his 2009 King Ranch supercar raised a whopping $300 for charity, showcasing the enduring legacy of a president who continues to make a difference. Every scratch and scuff on his current 150 tires tells the story of a true workhorse dominating the vast Texas landscape on the family's sprawling estate. Whether soaring high or cruising dusty trails, George W. Bush's secret journeys are a testament to an enduring spirit of exploration. After all, who says you can't teach an old president new tricks? Number 4, Barack Obama. Barack Obama's travels during his presidency were as diverse as they were extensive. From diplomatic missions abroad to connecting with local communities, Obama's travels solidified his reputation as a global leader. However, when it came to his official vehicle, nothing could beat the Beast. The Beast, also known as Cadillac, is more than just a car. It's a mobile fortress weighing between 7 and 9 kilograms. This behemoth is equipped with bulletproof windows, pump-action shotguns, tear gas cannons, and even blood bags for self-defense. Its armor, a formidable 5 inches thick, is military grade, guaranteeing the commander-in-chief's safety at all costs. With night vision cameras, tear gas grenade launchers, and the ability to drive with a flat tire, the Beast stands as a marvel of security and technology, a symbol of the efforts made to ensure the president's secrecy and protection. But when it comes to personal style, Obama's car collection tells a different story. While he himself couldn't drive the beast, his choice of vehicles reflected a combination of practicality and environmental awareness. In 2008, he arrived in a Ford Escape hybrid, demonstrating his commitment to environmental sustainability. With a base price of $29, this hybrid SUV embodied Obama's eco-conscious spirit. Delving deeper into Obama's car lineup, we find that the Chrysler is an embodiment of both style and substance. Priced at $33, this vehicle exuded elegance while simultaneously fulfilling the practical needs of the presidency. And then there's the Jeep Grand Cherokee, a reliable off-roader that harks back to Obama's early days, as he fondly recalls, "My first new car smell was a Jeep Cherokee, and I thought I was a bad man once I was in that car." Despite their appeal, these vehicles were more than mere means of transportation. They were status symbols, limited by the demands of the presidency and the need for security. But what about Obama's travels after the presidency? While details of his secret trips remain elusive, it's safe to assume he maintains a similar level of discretion and security to that during his time in office. With a fleet of private jets at his disposal, Obama can navigate the world with ease, whether for humanitarian missions or personal pursuits. And as he continues to make a difference on the global stage through initiatives like the Obama Foundation, his travels serve as a reminder that even after leaving the White House, the journey never truly ends. In the world of presidential travel, secrecy and security go hand in hand. From the impenetrable fortress of the Beast to the eco-friendly elegance of his personal vehicles, Barack Obama's travels offer a glimpse into the complexities of life in the public eye. As he continues to chart his course after the presidency, one thing remains certain. Whether by land or air, Obama's travel is nothing short of extraordinary. Number 5, John Kennedy. The 35th President of the United States was known not only for his charisma and inspirational speeches, but also for his love of the elegant attractions that adorned the White House during his presidency. Despite facing threats due to Cold War tensions and his progressive stance on civil rights, Kennedy's appreciation for luxury and innovation extended to his choice of automobiles. One of Kennedy's most iconic cars was the Ford Thunderbird convertible, a sleek Korean white beauty that epitomized sophistication. With innovative features like a floating rear-view mirror and a tilting steering wheel, the Thunderbird stole the show at Kennedy's inaugural parade, reflecting the president's obsession with luxury and elegance. It wasn't just a car, it was a symbol of power and refinement, perfectly suited to a president who captivated the nation with his charm. Later in life, Kennedy's collection included another Thunderbird, this time a hardtop in metallic sand beige. This 1963 model marked the end of the third generation and featured upgrades such as an AM/FM radio and power door locks. Kennedy's affinity for the Thunderbird went beyond personal enjoyment. It possibly even influenced his administration, with Ford executive Robert McNamara playing a role on Kennedy's team. However, it was the 1961 Lincoln Continental convertible that forever linked Kennedy and automobiles, especially on the tragic day of his assassination. Known as the Kennedy Continental, or 100%, this iconic vehicle was modified for presidential service, with steps for Secret Service agents and flashing lights. After that fateful day, the 100% underwent further security modifications, including a titanium coating and additional filters for the heating and cooling systems. Beyond his love of cars, Kennedy found solace and relaxation on the open sea. Frequently seen sailing the waters, he often retreated to Hammersmith Farm in Newport, where he could indulge his passion for boating. For Kennedy, being on a boat was the ultimate relaxation, away from telephones and distractions, surrounded only by the sun, the water, and the soothing waves. One memorable occasion was in September 1962, when Kennedy returned to Newport to watch the America's Cup, accompanied by Jacqueline Kennedy and John Kennedy Jr. The president reveled in the excitement of the regatta, demonstrating his love for the sea and the thrill of sailing. It was a momentous event, with Kennedy enjoying the sea breeze and the camaraderie of other sailing enthusiasts. Sailing. Every vehicle in Kennedy's car collection and every moment spent on the water tell the story of an era, a presidency, and a man who left an indelible mark on American history. From the elegance of his automobiles to the tranquility of the open sea, John F. Kennedy's enduring legacy lives on through his passion for luxury, innovation, and adventure. After all, even the leader of the free world deserves moments of leisure and enjoyment. Number 6, Jimmy Carter. The 39th President of the United States is remembered not only for his charisma and sincerity, but also for his unique approach to transportation, which reflects his values of simplicity and humility. During his presidency, Carter used the famous 1972 Lincoln Continental and Air Force One for transportation. The Lincoln Continental, originally a hardtop, underwent significant modifications to ensure the president's safety. This luxurious, customized Ford convertible, of which only 3 are known to exist, exemplifies a rare intersection between American history and automotive innovation. However, due to the former president's actions, Carter has not been able to drive since the mid-1970s. Despite not being a car enthusiast, Carter's first car, a 1947 Studebaker Commander, held special significance, as it marked the beginning of his shared journey with Mrs. Carter. This vintage car symbolizes the simplicity and shared moments that defined their enduring union, emphasizing the sentimental value of automobiles in Carter's life. In his post-presidential era, Carter's commitment to positive change remains unwavering. Although he rarely travels for vacations due to his advanced age, he actively manages the Carter Center, demonstrating a practical commitment to humanitarian efforts. Carter's travel philosophy is reflected in his preference for economy class over first class, emphasizing his commitment to a simple life. Carter's choice of transportation also extends to trains. Particularly, he prefers Amtrak, which he considers environmentally friendly. He opts for smaller planes to minimize his environmental impact, avoiding private jets and choosing modest cars like Chevrolets or Fords. Carter's focus remains on humanitarian efforts, even when traveling internationally, preferring modest accommodations to lavish retreats. In a touching celebration of love, former President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind received a surprise gift on their 75th wedding anniversary, a beautifully restored 1964 Ford superluxury convertible. The sentimental significance of the car, produced the same year as their wedding, added an extra layer of charm to the heartfelt gesture, reflecting the enduring bond between the Carters. Carter's lasting connection to his community is evident through his active life, teaching Sunday school at Maranatha Baptist Church and interacting with ordinary people along the way. Her focus on living simply and making the world a better place underscores her commitment to a life of purpose beyond the pitfalls of luxury and extravagance. Number 7, Air Force One. While former U.S. presidents may no longer have access to Air Force One after leaving office, they certainly don't have to resort to flying economy or hitchhiking around the world. So how do they travel the globe in style without spending a fortune? Let's delve into the fascinating world of former presidents' private jet charters. For example, after President Obama left office, Michelle Obama was spotted boarding the Falcon 900 private jet owned by Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin Atlantic, reportedly headed for a vacation on Necker Island in the British Virgin Islands. Clearly, former presidents and their families prefer a more exclusive mode of travel. Interestingly, Barack Obama was not seen boarding the same plane with his wife. But rest assured, he also traveled to Necker Island in a way that was anything but commercial. But what about those times when former presidents have to travel to give speeches promoting the United States and speaking as the country's former leader? Well, in that case, the government has them covered. Quite literally. The Former Presidents Act of 1958 guarantees that certain funds are allocated to former U.S. presidents for travel related to their former office. This means that if a former POTUS is scheduled to speak at an event representing the United States, the travel expenses would be covered. Here's the catch. The former POTUS and their spouse don't just receive a blank check for their travel expenses. The government carefully determines whether the purpose of the trip is for pleasure or government-related work. If it's the latter, then Uncle Sam foots the bill, ensuring that the former president can continue representing the country without worrying about racking up frequent flyer miles on their personal credit card. In 1969, the General Services Administration was tasked with determining the annual funds allocated to former presidents, their families, and 2 staff members. The funding was set at $1 million for the president and $500 for their spouse. However, the former president and their spouse do not receive this money directly. Instead, it is earmarked for official travel expenses. Now, before you start fuming about taxpayer money being spent on the former president's lavish vacation, consider this. In 2015, only George W. Bush and his father drew on these funds, and even then, it was for a modest $66. The other presidents did not touch their allocated funds at all, demonstrating that when it comes to post-presidential travel, frugality is often key. So, while former presidents may no longer have access to Air Force One, they certainly haven't run out of money when it comes to travel. With their travel expenses covered by the government, they can continue to represent the country on the global stage, in style, whether for official business or a well-deserved vacation. After all, even former presidents need a break now and then. And who can blame them for wanting to do it in style? Number 8, the ex-president's rules. Former presidents may no longer have all the perks of the Oval Office, but they still know how to travel in style, sometimes controversially. So let's delve into the fascinating world of ex-presidents' travel rules. First, let's talk about the 2013 incident involving former President George W. Bush's private plane. Mid-flight, the crew reported smoke on board, prompting an emergency landing. While it turned out to be a false alarm, it caused quite a stir. But that's not the only time Bush has faced public scrutiny. He received a backlash for accepting a $100 fee to speak at a veterans event and was criticized again for accepting a $20 private jet flight. It seems even former presidents aren't immune to public criticism when it comes to their travel choices. Now let's talk about the exception to the rule, former President Jimmy Carter. Did you know that both he and his wife Rosalind booked a Delta flight from their hometown of Atlanta to Washington, D.C. to attend the annals of former President Donald Trump's inauguration? That's right, Carter opted for a commercial flight like any other citizen, proving that not all former presidents travel in luxury. Speaking of luxury, let's talk about former President Trump. Even before flying on Air Force One, Trump was harassed living the high life. His private Boeing 757 boasted gold buckles, his own watermark, and an interior as luxurious as the Air Force One. When it was time to leave the White House, Trump and his family boarded Marine One, the presidential helicopter, before flying to Florida on Air Force One for the last time. Now, Trump will remain a Secret Service chauffeur. But when it comes to chartering private jets, he doesn't actually have to lift a finger. But what about the public perception of former presidents chartering planes? Well, it's mixed. While some argue it's a necessary expense to maintain the dignity of the office, others see it as a misuse of taxpayer money. After all, former presidents like Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Trump often travel privately using taxpayer funds, while simultaneously raising considerable sums of money from speaking engagements, book deals, and merchandise sales. Interestingly, the former president's charter flight law was enacted after President Truman left office nearly bankrupt, unable to afford his own home. However, the financial situations of current former presidents are very different, leading some to question the necessity of taxpayer-funded travel. So, what are your thoughts on former presidents chartering planes? Is it a necessary expense or an unnecessary luxury? Let us know in the comments below. Nike Air Force One. The mere mention of this iconic aircraft conjures up images of power, prestige, and presidential authority. But what exactly is Air Force One, and why is it so much more than just an airplane? Let's uncover some lesser-known details about this symbol of American leadership. First, when we talk about Air Force One, we're not referring to just one specific plane. Instead, the term Air Force One is used to designate any Air Force aircraft that transports the President of the United States. However, when most people think of Air Force One, they picture one of two highly customized Boeing 747s. These planes are unlike any other aircraft in the world. They are symbols of American power and leadership, easily identifiable by the words United States of America, the American flag, and the presidential seal. As tall as a 6-story building and with 4,000 interior spaces, Air Force One is essentially a flying Oval Office. It's equipped with everything the president needs to conduct business while in the air, including a conference room, a dining room, private bedrooms, offices for senior staff, and even a medical operating room with a doctor on board for every flight. President Barack Obama's Air Force plane, for example, was a specially modified Boeing 747 that served as his flying Oval Office during his presidency. But here's an amazing Air Force that can refuel in midair. Imagine this. You're cruising at 30 feet, and instead of landing for a pit stop, another plane sneaks up behind you and bam! You're refueled and ready to fly on. This means Air Force One can reach virtually any corner of the world without stopping. It's like having a magic carpet, but with much more power and much less carpet. But it's not just the luxurious accommodations that make Air Force One so special. It's also equipped with state-of-the-art communication systems, including multi-frequency radios for seamless air-to-air and air-to-ground communication. This ensures the president can stay connected with anyone, anywhere in the world, at any time. But the luxury and functionality came at a price. President Obama's Air Force One was the most expensive to operate, with an estimated cost of $200 per hour. This high price tag underscored the importance placed on ensuring the president's safe and discreet air travel, especially in an era marked by heightened security concerns. Security was paramount in every aspect of Air Force One's operation, from departure to arrival. Rigorous processes were in place to safeguard the president and ensure smooth operations during flights. Whether traveling to tornado-ravaged areas in Oklahoma, attending international summits in Beijing, or celebrating anniversaries with the First Lady, Air Force One provided dignified and safe transportation for the president and his family. Throughout its historic history, Air Force One has traveled to some of the most remote and challenging locations in the world. From Austin, New Mexico and Houston to Beijing, Afghanistan, and beyond, Air Force One has served as a mobile workspace for presidents while handling important diplomatic missions, addressing national emergencies, or simply traveling for personal reasons. However, Air Force One isn't the only option for post-presidential travel. Former First Lady Michelle Obama was photographed boarding Sir Richard Branson's private jet, the Falcon 900X, en route to a vacation in the British Virgin Islands. While President Obama's travel arrangements weren't honored, it's safe to assume she didn't opt for a commercial flight, given the lifetime protection the Secret Service provides to all former presidents and their spouses. In fact, commercial flights are out of the question for former presidents, not only because of security concerns, but also because of the potential chaos that could result from a presidential appearance in a public airport terminal. Private jets have become the preferred choice for secure and discreet air travel after the presidency, allowing former presidents to take to the skies without compromising their security or privacy. Air Force One, however, remains the pinnacle of presidential air travel. It is not just an airplane. It is a symbol of American power and prestige. From President John F. Kennedy's historic flight in a specially modified Boeing 707 to President Obama's tenure aboard a customized Boeing 747, Air Force One has played a central role in shaping presidential travel and diplomacy for decades. In conclusion, Air Force One represents more than just a means of transportation for the president. It embodies the strength, dignity, and authority of the nation's highest office. As former presidents navigate life after the White House, Air Force One remains a symbol of their enduring legacy and the unique challenges and privileges of presidential travel.